this video on formatting cells, which is something we've partly looked at before, we're just going to finalize one last bit, get our heads around one small section. To do so, I've created another worksheet. Remember, just clicking on the plus. I've named it formatting cells. Remember, just double click and change what's in there to formatting cells. I'm now going to go to the button at the top between the column and row references to select the whole sheet, and for now I'm going to set the pixel width to 100. I'm going to do the same for the columns. I'm going to see how that comes out. Now on my screen that's come out quite nicely. If it's too big and bulky, then feel free to adjust those to a smaller dimension. And all I'm going to do is grab a 4x4 set of cells. So there's the active cell. This is my selected cell range. At the moment it's showing me the active cell. And all I'm going to do at the moment is go to the border control that we've looked at before, go to more borders, and again tell it inside and outside. And I could have very easily done that with the other tools, but we'll do that. I'm going to choose the first cell in the top corner. Something I can do very nicely now is use the bucket fill command. Yes, I can quite easily, let's put some data into there. There's A, and I've just put the caps lock on, B, C, D. By the way, just to show you, and I'm going to get rid of those, let's just select those cells again. If I now put A, yes, it goes the other way, but I could always do it that way, which really is, sorry, stop to think about the alphabet there, but it really is a neat little thing to do. So I've got those, goes back to the beginning, now I've got them. And just to help ourselves along, I'm going to center that and center it there. I'm going to make them a little bit larger, so let's stick them all. 36 fits my cells really nicely. So there you go. So again, I'm going to select the first cell here. I'm going to go up to the bucket fill symbol here, and I'm going to click on that. And I get a fill color of yellow, which is exactly what I can just about see underneath the bucket. But I might not want yellow, so I can click on the down arrow next to it, and now I've got a range of colors that I can choose from. Just like we had with the font colors, I've got these here, so I can change the color. The last color selected is the option for that bucket fill, but I can continuously change those all I like. Now they're a nice range, but I might want more, so I've got the option of more colors at the bottom, and we've got used to seeing this. At the bottom of most menus is a more option that gives us even more control. Now what we've got here is a color chart, and we've got a greater selection of shades of color, so I can click there and that gives me that shade there. Equally with that, under custom I can actually either use click in different areas and then vary the intensity. So let's go over here. If I now vary the intensity of that, I get that, click on OK, and that now becomes the color. You could see the original color being displayed underneath current and new. If you're happy with the concept of RGB colors, then you can define how much red is in there, how much green and how much blue. Every color on your computer is made up of those three colors mixed together. Red is obviously all red. Let's just cancel this, go over here, and then just to show you, go to more colors, custom. So if I set that to 255, which is the maximum value, 255, that's all to do with computers and the way they work. Now because it's got a background of white, that's 255, 255, 255, all the red, all the green, all the blue. So if I set green to 0 and I set blue to 0, I get 25500, and the red is the only color coming through, and there's the red that I would get. If I instead switch off red, notice I've now got no colour. And no colour means I've got a black background. If I go to green and I put that at 255, then I get an intense green. And if I only put blue to 255, I get a nice blue. If I don't put it, maybe I go almost halfway, 124, I get a darker one. So the lower the number, the darker the shade of that particular colour. But as I add colours, so there's 255, let's go back to the green, 128, and it gives me this mild colour. The more green I put in, the more it heads towards cyan. So if I now put 255, I get that nice cyan. If I ignore that one and put more red in, then it heads towards purple. And if I do a mixture, then I get more intensities. I've probably gone too high with that one. Let's go for 100, and it washes the colors out. If I lower the blue now to 200, and you can see 20, I get this brown color. You might even notice these hex values before, and that's something worth exploring, but that's not for us to do in this one. So I can fill the background color with an incredibly wide range of colors. How many colors? Well, let's say the maximum value of red we've got is 255. The maximum number of greens is 255. Don't forget, one of those values is 0. So though the maximum value is 255, we have 256 shades of red. No red to all red. Same thing with green. 256 different shades of green, from no green to all green. And the same thing with blue. So the maximum value is 255, but the number of colours, number of shades, is 256. So let's just use Excel to help us here. Red, there are, put that in capitals to make it stand out, and we go for green, and we go for blue. There are 256 shades of red. There are 256 shades of green, and there are 256 shades of blue. Now, if I have all the shades of red, then I can quite simply, I then can multiply that by the number of green, because I can use 0 or 1 or 2 and 256 times 1 and so on. So what I can do is multiply that by the 256 to see how many different combinations of red and green there are. But obviously I've got blue as well, so I can do multiply by that, because the number of colours is the number of shades of red multiplied by the number of shades of green multiplied by the number of shades of blue. How many different combinations are there of me giving red, green and blue if there's 256 different values of each? And the answer is 16.7 million different shades, different colours. So using that system gives us 16.7 million colours. I think that's enough for us to fill our grid up nicely. And there's certain nice little tricks we can do here. For example, if I set this as black, then notice I now can't see the letter, because the foreground, the font colour, is the same as the background colour. That's obvious. The nice thing is I can do that with red. If I select the red and I tell the font to do the same, I lose the text. It's still there. I can see that in the formula bar. But anyone looking at my cells won't see that. They'll just see the colour. So matching foreground or font colour to background does sometimes make it more presentable with your data. Your data's still there, but they don't need to see the values. So that's formatting cells in the sense of filling them with colour, and that becomes nice and useful in the next revision exercise using the times table square, and that's where we're going in the next video. So see you in the next video.